Hey everybody, how's it going? And welcome back to Daily's 2A News. With everything that's going on regarding the Second Amendment and the current administration, I feel that this channel is more important than ever to be able to spread information about what's going on with our Second Amendment rights. So today we're going to go ahead and start off by talking about what's happened so far this year. There has been so much that has taken place since the Biden administration took office that it's almost impossible to keep up. You would have to actually stay on top of it every single day, maybe even multiple times a day, just trying to keep up with all of the new legislation, the new bills, sanctuary states, you name it. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and just do a catch-up in one video and talk about the good and the bad that's happened to the Second Amendment so far. So let's go ahead and get started. This channel is proud to be supported by the USCCA. The U.S. Concealed Carry Association helps responsible Americans like you prepare for what happens before, during, and after an act of lawful self-defense. USCCA members get life-saving education, expert training, plus defense liability insurance. These benefits provide more than 500,000 USCCA members with the peace of mind that they deserve. Plus, a USCCA membership is always risk-free with their 100% money-back, bulletproof guarantee. Membership is truly an investment worth exploring. Click the most important link you might click ever down below and activate your U.S. Concealed Carry Association membership now. Okay, so I went ahead and I compiled a list. It's not a complete list because if it was a complete list, we'd be here all week talking about all the different things that have happened to the Second Amendment across the country right now. It's been very difficult since the new administration has taken office. A lot has happened, and everything on this list has happened just since the new administration took office. So keep that in mind. In a very short amount of time, these are all of the things that we're seeing. Now, I have good things and bad things on this list, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to start off with the good things. The first good thing is that more than a dozen states have now declared themselves sanctuary states for the Second Amendment. To me, that shouldn't be necessary because the Second Amendment is supposed to be finite. It's supposed to rule all law above all other laws that any state or federal government can enact, right? So when we have a Second Amendment right to keep and bear arms, that Second Amendment right is supposed to be absolute throughout this country. And so there shouldn't be a need for sanctuary states, but we see what the new administration is doing, and it's nice to see these states acting up in a big state level, not just a county level or a city level. You know, it's nice to see somebody say, hey, look, we're not going to allow federal enforcement that infringes on people's Second Amendment rights in our state. This is a free state, and our people that live here have those same freedoms. Again, while I think that should be the same across the country, we know what this administration is trying to do. Next, there are a lot more states that have added themselves to constitutional carry. They see that there is a right and that people have a right, regardless of the Constitution, to defend themselves. And they also have the right to use the best tool possible in order to do that. And so constitutional carry is basically that. It's based off of the Constitution that people have a right to keep and bear arms. And so they're giving the people that right. Again, that's something that I should apply all the way across the country, but a lot of states still require permits. And in my opinion, if you add a permit to something that's supposed to be a right, it's no longer a right. It's now a privilege. But we're seeing a lot more states move towards constitutional carry, and I'd love to see that. We also saw a concealed carry reciprocity bill be introduced in the Senate, which I also think is fantastic because if somebody with a permit were to drive from one state to the next state to the next state to the next state, you might go through several different types of laws regarding your permit and whether your permit's accepted as you go along your trip. For instance, I'm in Nevada, and if I go through Colorado, my permit's not good in Colorado, but it's good in all the other states in between and so forth. So it can be very confusing, and somebody who is, a law-abiding citizen can find themselves in jail for something as ridiculous as just their permit not being recognized in a state. Also, another good piece of news, the Supreme Court has finally taken up a Second Amendment case. That is a very big deal. The Supreme Court has been absolutely silent on the Second Amendment for decades now. They just have not made any big moves. Now we have a case in front of the Supreme Court that could affect the entire country and how the entire country is able to carry. So we have a big case in front of the Supreme Court, and again, that's good news. Okay, so now let's go and move on to some of the bad stuff that's happened to the Second Amendment. And again, it's not a complete list. There is a lot going on in terms of the left trying to push gun control right now. They're trying to restrict our Second Amendment rights in multiple ways, and they're going after things that they hadn't in the past. And they just have this big wish list of things that they would like to do, which would include basically banning everything. That's their end game. That's their ultimate goal. But they're going to go ahead and just aim for this stuff for now. And then if they can get this passed, they're coming for the rest of it. But the first one one that we're seeing actually started before the current administration actually even was set down. They started talking to the ATF prior to the transition, and so some of this stuff we've seen a little bit early, like 80%ers. They're going after 80% frames, 80% receivers, and stuff like that. They want to see them gone. They want to see them serialized. They want to see them registered. They want to see them have some type of identifying number. They want to see them out of the hands of individuals who can build them. They want somebody who has a license as a manufacturer to be able to make these things. And basically it just becomes like any other frame that you would buy. But they want to get rid of something that's been legal since before the founding of this country, which is being able to make your own. That's one thing that they want to get rid of. Another one, pistols. They don't like them. They don't like the pistol braces. They're going after braces. So that's another one that, Biden talked to the ATF about and tried to get pushed through. So we know that that's one thing right now that they're trying to do. They're trying to get rid of 80s. They're trying to get rid of braces. These are all part of their, baby steps to their ultimate plan. Another thing that they've done is they've also reintroduced another assault weapon ban. So they've introduced another ban in Congress, and they're going to try and push that ban through. They want to see basically no grandfather. They want to see people turn them in. They want buyback programs. Whatever they can do to try and eliminate the most popular rifle in the entire country, that's what they're going to try and do. So they went ahead and they introduced that. Magazines, another one that they love to do. They want to ban magazines that can hold more than 10 rounds. That has been a popular one for a long time now, but now you're seeing it on more of a national level. You got it in California, you have limitations in New York, New Jersey, Colorado, all over the country. They have these really strange, numbers that they just put. Like for some reason, some guy just said, let's just do 10. And so they go with 10 rounds and then that's stuck. And so that's what they've been trying to do. But now we're seeing that being introduced in Congress on a national level. Also, we're seeing the bankruptcy of the NRA. So the NRA, they decided to go into bankruptcy. Their filing was denied, and now they're in all sorts of financial trouble. So the NRA, whatever you think about them, if the NRA completely collapsed, it wouldn't be a good thing because the NRA has their roots in everything. What I would like to see with the NRA is a top-down change of leadership and a change of mindset so that we can use the history and the roots of the NRA to further the Second Amendment instead of hinder it like they've done in the past. But I don't want to see it go away altogether. But it's still, the bankruptcy is just, this is not ending well for them. Universal background checks. This is another favorite of the left. We've seen a bill for universal background checks be introduced into Congress. They want everybody to do a background check. They want everybody to do registration. That's another big one as well. They want everybody to register. And I've even seen people talk about having a searchable database that the ATF can access. So the ATF, they're having a hard time accessing documents when they want to find out where something is and match a serial number to something else. So now they want a searchable database, even though currently under federal law that would be illegal, but that is something that they're trying to do. They're also trying to raise fees on the NFA right now. So amongst everything else, banning ARs, banning mags, banning 80s, banning pistols, braces, and all that stuff, they're also trying to raise fees for the NFA. So NFA fees have pretty much been the same since the very beginning, right? And in the very beginning, if you were to get a $200 tax stamp, the cost of a $200 tax stamp, decades ago was considerably more to what people were making at the time. So that was very expensive. Let's say, this is just a total guess, but I'm saying the $200 back then would probably be the equivalent of $5,000 nowadays. And so what they're trying to do is they're trying to adjust for inflation and say that, given the current income that people have and everything else, we're going to go ahead and raise NFA fees to sort of match the times for what they were back then. It's supposed to be a deterrent. Nowadays, people are just paying for stamps left and right because people can afford it. And the ATF wants to maintain the deterrent factor of the fee. So the last one that I have here, which is, if you ask me, one of the biggest ones, it is the fact that they're trying to appoint a active gun control activist, okay? Somebody who works with the Brady campaign, somebody who's worked, with Bloomberg and all of the Moms Men Action, Every Town for Gun Safety. This is a guy who's actually worked with those groups. And now they want him to head up the ATF. Now, the ATF has this strange uncontrolled power. And what I mean by that is the ATF, they can somehow, even though it doesn't seem legal to me, can somehow make new laws based off of definitions that they find. So if they take braces, for instance, and change that into a stock, that simple definition change would make it illegal to own one while it's installed on something, and then at the same time turn people into criminals because what they have is now considered something different. So they would actually be amending laws and creating new laws and creating criminals by simply changing a definition. If you put an activist at the head of the ATF, you're going to see a lot of that. A lot of definition changes. A lot of things are going to happen where they're going to make criminals out of law-abiding citizens overnight. The ATF has run rampant on stuff like that in the past, and with somebody as aggressive as that at the helm, we're going to see a lot more of it. So this is all stuff that's just happened, okay, since January. We've had some good things, we've had some bad things, but really we got to stay vigilant on this one. Make sure you guys join the FBC, you donate when you can, become a member, join the USCCA to be able to protect yourself. If you defend yourself if you find the need to protect yourself, but do the things that you can in order to participate, because the FBC, the GOA, and all these places, they're fighting for our Second Amendment rights every single day. And if you don't know what you can do on your end, that's one thing that you can do, because they have all the lawyers, they have all the know-how, and they're the ones in court. So we need places like that to be able to stand up for our rights right now while all of this is just being crammed down our throats. So thank you all very much for watching. I really do appreciate it. Please like, subscribe. Have a great day.